Hi everyone, this is Evgeny and you are watching another video about Junie, a new AI agent from JetBrains. So in previous videos we checked how it looked like, we saw some drawbacks and usability of the tool. Also we checked the performance or kind of performance because you never know how it performs really because this is about AI agents, but at least we checked how it looks like or feeling if it's slower or faster. And I think this time we can dive deeper and try to code something real with Junie AI agent from JetBrains. And this is a really tricky thing what we have to test here because if you think about that for a moment, what should be tested, like what kind of coding task, give it a try. And it could be this very simple hello world, like create a basic web application in Java or something. But I think we fed up already with this idea because we all know that from the scratch it's pretty easy to create, like kind of pretty easy to create application for almost every single agent, so it doesn't show us a lot, right? And there are a lot of videos already on that, so I think you are bored with that already. And if you think about what kind of real task it could be, for example, I was thinking about introducing, so this is my project task manager, this is from another videos, and I was thinking if we can try and introduce here a better login experience, like now we do everything in the application. In reality, this is not the ideal way you would like to organize that, right? You would probably separate all these responsibilities to external tool like Auth0, for example. And my idea would be that, okay, we cannot do this in a proper way in a very short video, but maybe we can try to improve it a bit. And what we are going to do, we are going to put some rate limiting here, so to protect our application better. And this involves changing code in multiple places, and I'm really curious how Junie would perform that. Alright, so let's give it a try. We have a general basic idea that we want to protect our application with rate limiting, meaning that we are controlling that user or someone else, maybe bot, cannot access our application more often than necessary. And if so, then we block any requests or app. And this very general basic idea, I have no idea, I have no idea about technologies used here. I have no idea how to do that. Just from a logical perspective, I understand, okay, we need to protect it because, okay, let's say we have cases in the past, like someone tried to kill our application by sending a lot of requests, and now we want to be protected. So this is the raw idea, and I don't know details, I don't know anything, just my application, I have to protect it. And let's ask Junie about that and see how it performs this, right? So I'm in code mode because this is definitely about programming something. I click on the brave mode, probably not something you would do in a real environment, but for the videos, we don't want to stop somewhere and read it through the tool call if it's safe or not. We just believe that Junie performs everything in the best case. And let's type the prompt. So what do we need? So what I'm saying, the basic idea, please add a basic rate limiting to all the endpoints we have using Spring Boot, because this is a Spring Boot application. And we need to define probably the timing, like the parameters we want to see, right? And it could be something and so we're saying that 5 requests in every 10 seconds is the maximum we are going to allow, right? And just to make it simple, let's provide some restrictions maybe or suggestions. So we want to see the first very simplistic solution here. So we are fine if it's in memory. We don't need to introduce any databases, any other storages, just pretty blindly put everything in memory so we can see that it finally works, and later we can make it more complex and the proper way. So just use, and I'm saying use logic, in-memory logic annotations if possible. Again, I'm not aware of any practical tool here or library, just because this is Spring. I can think about, well, maybe there are some annotations from Spring, who knows, I have no idea. When you put it on a method and then you just kind of thing, right? So I'm providing here this information, so I'm fine if there are annotations, then also you can use it, but I don't know. We will see, right? And okay, our prompt is ready. It's pretty basic one, so there are a lot of guesswork from Junie expected, and let's see how it performs it. I'm pressing enter, and I'm not going to measure the timing here because we know that it could be slow, maybe not, but we are not interested in that in this video. All right, and based on the previous experience, we are expecting a plan should be created. First of all, and it's here, just let's review it. Okay, it says it needs to understand the current project structure and identify the controllers that need rate limiting. Well, this is true. And then it's going to research Spring Boot's rate limiting options like in memory solutions or annotations. It's also not aware of that, right, guys? it's the same page as I am. That's nice. And based on the research, a specific approach will be chosen and then implemented. And even we don't know the specific method, we know that maybe we need some dependencies in POM.xml. We need to create a rate limited configuration class. I think this comes from our 5 requests per 10 seconds thing. And then we are creating the real rate limiter. And then we have to implement filter interceptor aspect. And this is true because the way how it's going, probably the way how it's going to work, there will be a filter interceptor. So every single request will be analyzed. And if it's exceeding our limitation, then it will be rejected. Otherwise, like it will pass through and the work will happen as before. And once we have everything here, by the way, a lot of stuff is already finished and it's pretty fast this day, I would say. And then so we are applying the rate limiter to all the endpoints. That's true. And then we have to create tests. That's very nice. I didn't mention that at all, but it knows that we need to cover that with testing, this proper testing. And verify that the rate limited works as expected, 5 requests per 10 seconds. Well, probably this is about another test, maybe integration one. I don't know. I have no idea. All right, so plan seems very logical for me. It's good that Junie was able to create it. Okay, test was run, everything was fine. Should use export for header when available. Should allow requests within rate limit. This is something that was created on the fly, like a new thing here completely. So let's review. Maybe we have something here. We have a rate limit filter, and this is a new file here. And what's that? Let me expand it. Filter that implements rate limiting for all the endpoints and 5 per 10 seconds per IP address, it says. And what's happening here, we get the client IP address and is rate limited. Oh, test failed. That's nice. So Junie, what you're going to do is failing test. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Anyway, going back, if rate limited for this client IP, then we are we're responding back to many requests. That's true. And then we are providing some message describing that, okay, the rate limit exceeded, right? You have to try later, after 10 seconds probably. And this method, what it performs, we have this request counts, and this is, what is that? It's just a map, so no any libraries here, just we are using map structure. It's interesting. Well, maybe that's not the way I would implement it, but well, let's be honest, this was my task, right? I said, well, use whatever you want. Maybe the simplest implementation memory is fine. And so Junie said, okay, I'm taking the simplest one. And then it's pretty kind of logical thing what's happening here, right? We're increasing counts and all this stuff. And client IP also, we're doing it here. All right, so no external libraries. It's interesting. And security configuration. Okay, that's pretty clear. We have a new filter here, right? The one we saw already, and we setting it here before the user password authentication happens. All right. All tests are passed. Test security config, test security config. What's that? Okay, we need this filter. ANSI tests are failing at the moment, and Junie is trying to fix them, iterating all the time and fixing something. But what I really, maybe something I really don't happy with, why we are not using any Spring stuff or maybe third-party libraries. Okay, but that's, I think, not critical, right? Like a normal way, maybe you do some research work before that, and you're talking with Junie. This is the way I would process with the task. I would talk to Junie first, like explore different options, and then maybe I would make my prompt more concrete, like saying which libraries should be used. But for now, let's keep it like that. And something is failing constantly. It's interesting. I'm just curious if Junie is able to fix that, or it fails after some tries. And then if it fails, what should I do with that? And you know, guys, it's really interesting for me because, well, let's be honest, this is the not first time I'm running this, right? I was preparing myself to this video, and like when you're preparing, everything works very smoothly. So I have no idea how it knows that we are recording the video now, but it knows somehow. So it starts like doing all this stuff that fails and not using libraries and simplifies a bit here and there. So the main question for me, how it knows that we are recording the video right now. This is a really cool ability of AI Agent to understand that this is like a showcase demonstrated. And by the way, what's happening now, this is something I really don't like in general from the behavior of AI agents, because if you think about that, what's happening right now, we have tests failing, and it's kind of, they were not preliminary kind of work to organize all the things to create an architecture anyway. And we're in a situation that we're creating something from the scratch without thinking how it works, without maybe doing proper modular approach. And this thing fails. And so, I mean, my point is that now AI is trying to fix our prod code just to allow tests to pass. And this is really not the way. It should be a way around all the time, right? And this is, it's not about Junie at all. It's about the general work, the general way how AI agents work these days. And this is really something, this is one aspect why I'm saying all the time, I don't like this kind of tasks. You need to be in a control all the time just to analyze what agent is doing and maybe stop it somewhere in the middle and propose another way. Because see, now we are cycling, we are in this loop just trying to fix product code just to let test pass, and it's not working. All right, we are done, and kind of, right? So one advice I can give you, when you have this done screen, let me close it, you need to pay really great attention at what was changed, because there's great chance that something was broken, like, or changed in the way you didn't want it to be. Because it's like for new things, it's clear, right? It's a new thing, you can review it, but this one, I don't know, maybe the whole architecture is missing then after that. Security config, we have this rate limiter filter. Okay, finally we decided to put our filter here, right? It was different, we saw it already. And it's kind of safe code. It could be that we don't have this limiter filter. And if it's null, then this one would fail. Okay, required false. So see that we have production security config, right? But we are saying that this filter is not required. It could be null, and this is not the case in production code. So why we did that? I think Junie did that just to let tests pass, right? And just think about that. So we changed our production code to this configuration just to let test pass. How good is that solution? I don't know. Like if this would be a person providing me a merge request, I would make my comment here and ask to fix it. But with Junie, okay, we have to live with that. And we have test configuration, and what's that? Basic, okay, disable, what's different? I don't see any. Rather new bin here created. Okay. And application properties, we have go away, rate limiting enabled to false. Where is it? It's here, right, in tests. Okay, we created and rate limiting enabled false. And by default, probably it's true, right? Okay, clear. That's fine. That's not a problem. And then we have this rate limiter configuration where what we are doing here. Okay, it's clear. So it's not possible to run it dynamically, right? It's on runtime. It decides, okay, if you have this rate limiting enabled, then it creates a bin, right? Otherwise, it's skipped. Well, it's an interesting approach. I couldn't say I see it all the time, everywhere. It's definitely something questionable for me anyway, but it works. Let's call it this way. All right, and another conditional property, and match is missing, and registration bin, and to all the path. Okay. All right. And the filter itself is already. Well, that's it. How you judge the results. For me, some things here are really questionable. Like I'm pretty sure it will work as expected, just based on analyzing of the code, but the solution itself, well, I maybe do it a bit different way. All right, kind of we're done here, but maybe let's make another change, the last one, because if you scroll up and read our prompt, we are saying, okay, all the endpoints should be protected with these parameters, like 5 requests in 10 seconds. But if you think about that, it's not the case normally, because what we want to do, let's say we have a task controller. Let me close this one. And we have endpoints for providing a list of tasks, to create a task, and for some other stuff regarding tasks. But you have access to all these endpoints if you already authorized. So the risk that you're doing something in the wrong way and trying to break the system is really low, and we're more afraid of unknown users, right? So this one is pretty safe here, I would say. And if you go to authentication controller, so this one is under the attack, right? Because here you have unknown users. They can like send multiple requests, just trying to find, just scan your whole database and trying to find the login and password. So this one should be protected maybe more aggressively. This is what I'm trying to say. And having that, our initial prompt is not correct, because we said, okay, every single endpoint should be protected with the same configuration. That's not the case, right? We need different configuration for different endpoints. So let's give it a try and ask Junie again to fix the code that Junie already created. And well, and also we will see how good the architecture was, because if your architecture was thought through very good, then you don't have to rewrite half of your code base for that, right? This is not like a flag would be for us if everything will be removed and create from scratch with the proper approach. But let's give it a try first and see. I have no idea what's happening here. So I'm saying I'm just writing a follow-up, because this is the same task, right? And Junie is aware of the previous things and all this stuff and ideas about rate limiting. So I'm seeing this as having another config property where you can set different rating for different endpoints. And here we are. So I'm saying add a config property to make the limit adjustable per endpoint, per each endpoint. And again, we are in the code mode and brave mode, and we are running it. And let's take a look. All right, and another plan was created. So understand the current rate limit in implementation. Come on, Junie, you're in the same thread. You did it already kind of seconds ago, and you don't know, right, the current. Okay, all the time start from scratch. That's clear. Anyway, review the rate limit in filter, identify the hard-coded values. Okay, design. Oh, design is here. See, guys, design is here. So it should be properly designed. And determine how to make rate limits configurable per endpoint, decide on the configuration format, right? And then implement the configuration solution, and currently we are doing that. And contains of a number of subtasks like create configuration properties class to hold rate limiting settings, modify rate limiting filter, add support per endpoint, and update application properties. Add default rate limiting properties. Well, yes. Document the available configuration options. Well, finally we have a documentation. That's a nice thing. Then we have to create tests. Update or create tests. There's different rate limits. Okay, that's things nice. And verify the solution works. I really don't have that. Like, we do have tests, or it's kind of, I'm creating tests, now I'm running it and see that it's not working or what this is about. I have no idea. And summarize the implementation and provide usage instructions. And this thing is cool. Maybe it's going to update README, but we will see. All right, now we are on where we are implementing the configuration solution. And what do we have here? We have rate limit properties. And again, a new class was created. So we have enable true, false, default, and endpoints, and endpoint rate limit. Okay, we have a limit, number of requests, and time window in milliseconds. And filter was modified. And this is really interesting, like you see the changes between the first session and the second one. And required are constructed uses Lombok because our project under Lombok support. We have these properties we saw already. Then we have this path matcher. And I don't know, maybe it's somewhere in properties. Application properties was there. Okay, we have a new section completely. Which way is that? So we have global, rate limiting, enable, disable, defaults. And then we have this kind of path definition with limit and time window in milliseconds. All right, that's logically clear what's happening here. But so far, I think I'm happy with the result. Not the way, like, it's still not the way I would do it, but at least it's not rewriting all the code. It's kind of trying to modify and use the already created approach just to adapt it to the new requirements. All right, additional tests added, everything passes well, so that's fine. But again, let's check afterwards because, well, probably we have to change another piece of production code for that. All right, we are there, and what do we have? By the way, you can add it to Git immediately if you want. Maybe another job from Junie. We have this rate limiting properties, a new file, and we saw it already. We have this prefix, so it knows how to find it in the application, in your properties. It should not be application, dot properties all the time, right? There are other ways in Spring how you configure it. And here we have a new section, saw it already. Then we have this rate limiting configuration, and it takes properties. All right, and we still have this conditional being. Okay, I'm going to fix it in this session. And rate limit properties, and we have a test. So let's try to recap the experience we get from this session. So in general, it's possible to perform such tasks, right? The good thing, Junie really creates a plan. It tries to analyze what you need. It still behaves a bit on its own, but again, for example, if for us it's critical, we could put this as a requirement that specific library dependency should be used, so not this hash map in memory. And we allowed Junie to do this. Junie did it, so that's fine. What else? Sometimes this is a really tricky thing. I don't know how to process that because, well, some parts of the solution I didn't like much. I would ask to redo a different way, and here I really don't know how to perform this in a very easy way. Like, what should I do? After probably everything is finished, I have to ask Junie to fix that small thing, but that could lead to another rewriting, like half of the code base, kind of, right? It's not about Junie, it's about general experience working with AI agents. So again, it's a matter of taste. Like, if you prefer create these bigger prompts that describe everything, then you just click on the run button and wait until it's finished. Then Junie is really good here. It creates plan for you, it performs everything, you get the result at the end. If you're more in a way to work with the AI agents, kind of a conversation, like small chatting, short answer, short question, short answer all the time, then maybe you're a bit in trouble because it's not clear how to do this with Junie, because on your every small question in the code section, you'll try to create a plan, and maybe this is not the ideal situation for you. Anyway, that was coding session with Junie. Thanks for sticking with me till the end, and share your ideas, your impressions on Junie if you trying it, if you experimenting with it. And it was Evgeny, and I will see you next time in the next video. Bye bye.